Hey there, Laptop Nation. It's reviews time, and this time we're going to be taking a look at the Galaxy Note 8.0. Abram, you had some time to spend with the 8.0, so tell us, what do you like, what do you don't like? Give us the breakdown.
So if you've used the Galaxy Note 2 before, or the Galaxy Note 10.1, you know that that Samsung provides an incredible note-taking experience on those with an active stylus. But the Galaxy Note 8.0 is the Goldilocks principle in action. It's neither too big nor too small. It's just the right size. With 12 ounces, it's not too heavy. Fits right in my left hand here, so I can write with my right hand, so I can have a really great note-taking experience and a really great multitasking and productivity experience. So some of the things that have been built into this system from other versions of Samsung TouchWiz are the multitasking multi-window view here. So if I hit the back button here and I'm in multi-window, I can actually drag something onto the screen. I can drag my browser onto the screen, then I can drag my email client onto the screen, so I can look at the browser in one side of the window, one side of the desktop, while I actually write the email on the other side without having to switch apps. It's almost like using Microsoft Windows. Obviously, pen support is a really big deal, and it's built right into every nook and cranny of this operating system. So if I want to capture just anything on the screen that I'm looking at, as with previous Galaxy Notes, I can just hit the S Pen button, draw a little box around it, and then share that picture in email or social media or whatever I want. Of course, there are a ton of pen apps included in this. So if I go to, for example, the S Note app, which is a really powerful app, I can not only scribble down my notes, but I can actually add video recordings, I can add audio recordings, I can add all kinds of multimedia to my notes, and there's a really neat new feature here called Idea Sketch, where if I want to include a piece of clip art, I just hit the Idea Sketch button, I draw in a word like man, and it will actually go out to the cloud and suggest
that's really cool.
A bunch of pictures of line art pictures of that subject matter.
So how does this hold up against the Note 2 and all of the other slew of pen-enabled tablets or phones that we've used in the past?
It's really the best that I've used, because this pen just feels really good in the hand. It's the right size, and there's great palm rejection. So if I'm sitting here writing and I lean my heel of my wrist here, on some other devices I might end up hitting the back button by accident or drawing with my palm, but as soon as it detects the S Pen here, it completely cuts off that kind of input. There's Air View, which is built right into the operating system, so if I hover over with my pen and I hover over certain objects like a thumbnail in the gallery or an attachment in the email inbox, I'll see a preview of them without even having to tap. And unlike previous Galaxy Notes, I can now use the S Pen to tap the back and menu buttons. I don't have to lift up my finger to do it. It now actually works on the capacitive buttons as well. But perhaps my favorite handwriting feature on this is the handwriting keyboard, which works anywhere in the operating system. And no matter what I'm in, if I'm composing an email, if I'm jotting down a note, and I want to write it out in handwriting, all I have to do is hit the correct button on the keyboard, and then I can put in a word, and then it will automatically convert that to ASCII text and insert it into my document.
Really cool. So besides the pen apps, what about the rest of the tablet apps? Because Samsung is known for just putting a chock full of goodness into their products. So what about this one?
So there's a really neat new app on this called Watch On, which allows you to control your TV and to search through available video listings. So there's an infrared port on this, which you haven't seen before on these devices. And if you load up Watch On, you'll see this program guide, which lists all the programs that are available now on my cable provider. And I can also search by genre and see what it recommends for me. Beyond that, if what I'm looking for isn't there, I can do a search, and it will not only search the TV listings, but it will also search YouTube videos and Samsung's Media Hub store. Unfortunately, the search didn't always work so well. For example, when I searched for Captain America, it gave me Captain Ron instead.
All right. So what are a few cons? What are the things that might give people pause about buying this device?
Well, the price is certainly much more expensive than the competitors. In this price range, you have the $329 iPad mini, which has a lot more apps available for it because it's on iOS. There's a lot more tablet optimized apps available. And of course, for $199, you can get the the Nexus 7 from Google, and that offers very similar functionality, just not the pen, and that's half the price because this is $399, which is quite a hefty price. Of course, for this price, you get a really bright screen. You get the pen ability. You get all the wonderful apps around this, including Watch On, Polaris Office, Awesome Note, which is another great note-taking app, Samsung's Media and Music Hubs, and all that. So you get a lot of software and a lot of power for that price. But what you don't get is particularly good battery life. This lasted only 7 hours and 12 minutes on a charge, which is pretty much identical to our tablet category average. But when you're paying more, you'd kind of expect more. And when you consider that the iPad mini gets over 10 hours, we would have liked to have seen a little bit more endurance.
And speaking of the mini, how does this hold up against the mini? Because that's the question that everybody's going to want to know. Apple, Samsung.
Well, I think obviously there are people who are going to be partisans on both sides of the issue, people who are iOS people and people who are Android people. But if you're kind of split down the middle and you're trying to decide, it's really quite simple. The iPad mini has a larger ecosystem of apps. It has a more premium design that doesn't have kind of the cheap plasticky build of this. And it is a bit cheaper and it lasts longer on a charge. However, the Galaxy Note 8.0 has a higher resolution screen. It's got this pen ability. It's got this great note-taking software. It's got the wonderful multitasking ability where you can split the screen between a couple of different apps. And it's got a really powerful quad-core processor. Of course, on the lower end, if you're willing to sacrifice the pen support and some of the apps, for $199 you can get the Nexus 7, which has full Android experience on it.
Okay, so at the end of the day, who would you recommend the 8.0 for?
I would recommend the Galaxy Note 8.0 to anybody who really, really values the note-taking pen entry experience. If that's not important to you, then you can save money by getting an iPad mini or getting a Nexus 7. But if you want the ultimate productivity experience on something that is just the right size for drawing and note-taking, then the Galaxy Note 8.0 is the best choice on the market today.
So there you have it, folks. Samsung Galaxy Note 8.0. Great for productivity, fits right in the hand. A little premium price, but it's up to you to decide. Stay tuned for more laptop reviews on laptopmag.com.